Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know about you, but I think I was taught to provide evidence to support my claims since I can remember. I don't know, as far as I remember, I can't even pinpoint I don't know, when I was 5, 6. When people ask you, why did you do that? And you have to say why. You have to reason why you did that. Or you said, well, that's what happened. How do you know? How do you know that's what happened? No, we have here a former CIA or FBI. I think it's CIA. Well, we have a former CIA station chief. Okay, so a former CIA guy who, besides the fact that he is an adult, so that means he should have learned to provide evidence when he makes a claim, and the more important the claim, or the consequences would be greater, you have to provide clearer evidence that that's true, because the consequences are serious, more serious than others' claims, right? And is importance. So he tells us that it is no question that Putin staged a public execution of Prigozhin. There's no question about it. Well, he's not going to provide any evidence, but this kind of evidence. Well, Putin is bad. And Putin and Prigozhin, they're bad, so it's no, they deal with one another. I will not play the video where he shows up at Fox News. He's a correspondent in the Fox News, so he's an expert. He's used as an asset, as an expert by Fox News, this former CIA, whatever he was. And he comes over and says, there's no question Putin did it. As an adult and as a former CIA, CIA is an intelligence organization, isn't it? Is the Federal Intelligence Bureau, right? Whatever it is, agency, bureau. That's the other one. So he's intelligence. Now, in intelligence, you provide, intelligence, information, knowledge, but you also have to make sure that you are. So let's look at this little title here, coming from, as I said, Fox News, and it says, "No question," quote unquote, "no question." That means zero. No question means zero. That Putin decided to stage a quote-unquote public execution of Prigozhin. Dan Hoffman. Now, Daniel, he is just using assumptions, not evidence, assumptions. That's why they're doing, and here is just gonna explain to us, Mr. Dan, this is the guy. Former CIA station chief. So he was a chief in charge of something, and Fox News contributor. This is the experts these guys are featuring in front of our eyes to tell us what to believe about things. Like, hey, there's no question he did it. Okay, how do you know that? You're a former. That's the main thing here again. Tells Fox News Live that Vladimir Putin wants plausible deniability about operation. Well, all right. First, when you are a former, you have no access to any more information. Got that? Now, if you can say, well, I know people and they give me people, you can't really make statements because you're going to be asked by me, how do you know that? And he's going to say, well, it's confidential. How is it confidential? How was it released to you? And then we get in other legal issues with this guy. So either way, he doesn't know shit. He's a low-rank guy that doesn't know what possibly happened in Moscow. All right? He's not a guy from the Pentagon like the guys that really listen to Putin giving orders. He's not that rank. He's low rank, okay? In the context of the situation. He's not right there. He's a former. He's out. I don't know exactly what. He's a correspondent. He's an expert. These are the guys who give us the information. Then, oh my God, and you hear them, oh, he's a former CIA. Oh my God, he knows what he's talking about. Authority figure. Fuck no. Use your brain, go around the block a few times, and you realize by what they say, there are weasels. All right? So, I don't know. I'm guaranteeing he doesn't know. He wants to know, as I want, but he wants to believe that's what he says. And maybe he has to say it because, that's a little button that was pushed and these guys are activated. What do you think he's going to say? Other than say, actually, we don't know. Actually, we don't know. We just, assume. That's what it is, an assumption. Based on what evidence? I mean, if he or his family would be judged by this kind of assumptions, he would be in jail. As I made other articles, videos on this kind of articles, where I said, I can say Biden did it. I can say Zelensky did it with the same amount of evidence. Just using what? The guys are good and this is bad? Well, I'm going by Kibono. Who benefits? Russia benefits? First, Prigozhin didn't have a problem with Putin. Prigozhin had a problem with Gerasimov and Shoigu, the generals. Clear. What are you talking about? They all point at Putin when this guy claimed clearly it's not him, it's those guys. So why would Putin? Oh, it's Putin, Prigozhin showed disloyalty. Well, okay, he showed disloyalty, but he attacked those two guys, wanted to take care of them, and he attacked Ukraine. And in Africa, he threatens NATO and Americans and the French and all those guys. So which one is bigger? I mean, Prigozhin was brought back to the Kremlin 6 days after he did what he did. If Putin really wanted to, he would have done it in that night when he had that little uprising. We don't even know exactly what happened there. We don't know if that was a stage action by Putin to see who's gonna jump up and say, well, I'm with these guys, I want to take care of Putin. And those guys are out, if you know that the so-called General Armageddon, he's out. One of them, according to the Russians, obviously, but the fact is the guy was up, released from his functions, and he is out. That's one of them. I think a few generals or a few other officers are out. After that, little mutiny. That means could be that, and Putin figured out who's who. I don't know. Neither these guys know. But if I tell you I'm going to do this because of that, and the other guy say no, he's not. That's not what he said. He's actually the other thing. Well, why do you listen to this guy anymore? Don't listen to him. He's dead anyway. I'm talking about Prigozhin now. So again, another guy who says there's no question. So no question. That means it's beyond any reasonable doubt. 99%. In his mind, no question is 100%. How in the hell do you think this guy knows? I mean, the only thing that I can look at and give Putin is like, okay, this was insubordination. If it was insubordination, even that could be disputed. Even that could be disputed that Prigozhin acted against Putin's will and orders. We don't know. We can say yes, it was, but still a few percentages that could show another alternative hypothesis. Maybe he acted at Putin's order with his whatever that was, mutiny. And then the guys pop up, got him out, and thank you very much. And I'm not going to kill you. Or later. This is possible. But to this former working for Fox News, it's his job, is to push a narrative like any other mainstream media nowadays and in the past, 100 years. This is what you have. Narratives. This is just a guy who gets paid to say the party line. Because if he says something else, he's going to end up like Colonel McGregor. Out. You remember when he showed up at Tucker? And then he showed up once or twice at MSNBC, I think another Fox News. And he said that, you can still find it on YouTube. Colonel McGregor said, Zelensky is just a clown, just a puppet of US. It's just a, he didn't call him clown, he calls him, how do you call that, man, I always have around with that word, a comedian. He's a comedian, has no experience, and he's US puppet. And the guy over there immediately, I think it was from Fox News, said, no, or MSNBC, I disagree with that. No, do you think he's a puppet? You're trying to, hey, you said something you're not supposed to say. Are you sure you want your career here on the media? And Colin McGregor says, yes, he's a puppet. Huh, shit. And he said, I disagree with that. He had to say it like, oh, I don't condone his opinions and his assessments. What do you think this guy would say? Well, we don't know if it was Putin. He would be out of a job. Big bucks. The former. I'm irritating, but on the other hand, I'm glad we have these guys saying this kind of idiotic things, because I have the chance to tell you and show you who we're dealing with. And they've been doing this forever. If internet would not be around, Okay, if we could not do what I'm doing right now, you would hear him and say, oh yeah, you would not hear an alternative. I'm not saying that you are not able to discern the weasel from a straight shooter, which this guy clearly is a weasel. But I'm just saying with this one, we can comment about it. We can expose them more than they expose themselves. Anyway, and who disagrees with that? Yeah, imagine that you are, let's say, a guy who another guy comes and say, you are guilty. There's no question you are guilty. What would be your next question? How do you know that? Did you prove it? Did you bring any evidence? This is the first question that you would ask. If someone said, we should arrest this guy because he committed this crime. What would you say? If he says that yeah, I'm going to go to jail, arrest me? No. Your first question, how did you prove that? That's a process. Putin did not lose his civil rights, did he? He's not going to just big grab, then put in prison without a court proceedings. Will he? I mean, it's so much BS. And you hear all this Haley and the candidate, oh, yeah, Putin is a criminal. He did it. He doesn't know squat. He doesn't know how to wipe her ass when she goes to the bathroom. And she tells us that she knows that Putin did it. Based on what evidence? I sue your ass. Now, imagine she would say that, I don't know, Biden did it. Her career would be over. She would be sued if she claims without evidence. But because it's Putin, you can say whatever you want. It's, I don't know, open range right here. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Another idiot, just so you know. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.